This situation keeps getting crazier as we have new reports from notable Jays insiders now, Shai Davidi and Ben Nicholson-Smith, that have revealed some more intriguing details surrounding the Jays' pursuit of Roki Sasaki. We're going to break down those reports and discuss what it means as we are now a day away from when he can officially sign. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. But before we get into it, a quick reminder, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Thank you guys for your support. We just hit 15,000 subscribers a couple days ago. We're on the road now to 16,000. So if you want to help us towards that goal, make sure to smash that subscribe button. But ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot to go over today. And there is some interesting details that have been released, and Shai Davidi dropped an article revealing some more information, as well as some other things that are starting to percolate from Ben Nicholson-Smith, as well as other guys. And we are now, as of the time of this upload, a bit less than around 24 hours away from when he can officially make his decision. And we know that he can wait until the 23rd of January, but all signs point to him, especially with the way that they've been, Roki Sasaki's camp and agent Joel Wolf have been eliminating teams. It seems like now a decision could come a lot earlier than we expected. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with this. This is from Ben Nicholson-Smith, and he said, prize Japanese right-hander Roki Sasaki, and we have a newer report from Shai Davidi in a minute here, but we'll start with this. So prize Japanese righty Roki Sasaki was recently in Toronto for a visit with the Blue Jays, according to The Athletic. The report Monday emerged after attendees at baseball's Canada Annual Awards banquet hosted at the Rogers Centre told Sportsnet they saw a player fitting Sasaki's description working out on the field. One video shown to Sportsnet, shot from a distance, featured a pitcher throwing on a flat ground with what one baseball person described as a Japanese-style delivery. Others who witnessed the session said the dome included rooms and restaurants that overlooked the fields, thought the pitcher matched up with Sasaki. Delivery also looked identical to that of Sasaki. So, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like, and this kind of came out yesterday, that he was pitching at the Rogers Centre on a flat mound. Now, the reason this is important now, this was kind of, we kind of knew this, but new videos have surfaced of Roki Sasaki pitching in the Padres stadium on a mound as well. And people are saying that, hey, he's going to be a Padre. He was pitching actually in a Padres uniform at the Padres arena, which is very intriguing as well here. But the fact that he also, according to Ben Nicholson-Smith, pitched at the Rogers Centre, maybe takes away from some of the fact to immediately, assume, hey, he's going to be a San Diego Padres, because he was pitching at, this Padres arena here. So he was pitching at the Jays arena. And again, this is pretty big because you think about where the Jays were a couple of days ago. Didn't even think that the Jays were going to be in on this guy, and now they're finalists. He flew all the way to Toronto. He not only flew to Toronto, but he now at this point, pitched at the Rogers Centre. It gets very interesting the more you start to think about it. And regarding what the money they have, the Jays have an international bonus pool of 6.2. We're going to dive into that in a little bit, but I want to get into Shai Davidi's recent article here. So he said, working their way into the final three, this is the new report, an endeavor of years of quiet prep work in the making after, at minimum, getting a good look from Ohtani last winter, bodes well for the club's ongoing attempts to establish a good pipeline. But given the instability of the roster's core with pending free agents, the potential longer-term benefits of another podium finish is irrelevant in the here and now. Sasaki, 23, has a chance to be transformational. We all know that. And that's the interesting thing here now. And this is the big kind of information here. He doesn't say anything crazy new, but he kind of gives some perspective on how they're feeling. So after the well-publicized runs at Ohtani, Juan Soto, and Burns, among flirtations with other free agents and trade candidates, how many fans want to risk getting their hopes up again regarding Roki Sasaki? Fatalism, after all, is a defense mechanism. He goes into a bunch of different things here. Eventually, they're going to have to connect again. And he doesn't say that the Jays are favorites or anything like that, but the way that he's speaking is almost like, okay, the Jays are obviously heavily involved on this guy. This is another Jays reporter who confirms that the Jays are all in on it. We've seen the Jays be, Sasaki be at the Rogers Centre, according to Ben Nicholson-Smith here. So many different things. And again, it becomes super interesting now. And you can see this here. If he transitions as smoothly as expected, we know he's going to be one of the best bargains in the game, providing the type of roster-changing financial efficiency that the Jays so desperately need. Given what a Guerrero extension, if completed, looks like, a handful of productive years from a young player in their prime is going to be great. So there's more than good reason to get excited about the possibilities. Now, he doesn't say that the Jays are favorites. He doesn't lean in any direction. He doesn't even really say that the Padres or the Dodgers are necessarily favorites at this point, but he does talk about the Jays process behind it. And the biggest, thought about it here is the first paragraph here. Working their way into the final three in endeavor, years of quiet prep work in the making. And we know that Ross Atkins for years now has been scouting Roki Sasaki. He's been scouting this player in preparation for years to get to this moment. And this was something that the Jays, we didn't really know. We weren't, privy to this information as fans, really. At least we didn't think of it as a huge possibility at the time. But now that we're in the mix, and it is a huge possibility, the fact that Schneider has come out and said it's years in the making, that has to have your hopes a bit higher if you're a Jays fan. Now, I understand a lot of Jays fans don't want to get their hopes up at all. Understandable. Completely get it. But for Schneider to come out and say all these things is very intriguing and very, good if you're a Jays fan. Now, we also had a guy, an MLB insider, Jim Bowden, come out. He said it's a heck of a sell to someone like Sasaki who could create his own brand, not just in the city of Toronto, but in the country of Canada. It's also what Jeff Passan said. We've been through this whole, saying that they're the country of Canada, all this. We've been through that rodeo before. That's not necessarily something that I think is a huge selling point usually. However, if you're going to sell Roki Sasaki on something that, the other teams don't have in this race, specifically the Padres and the Dodgers, being able to come in a not a huge market when it comes to media. The media in Toronto is a lot easier than the media in LA or in San Diego. You can sell them on the, being the face of the entire country alongside Vladdy. There's a lot of selling points for the Jays that, the same ones were used for Ohtani, and they almost got Ohtani, but the same ones can be used here for Roki Sasaki. And it's not something we were discussing a lot because we didn't think that he was even interested in playing for the Toronto Blue Jays, the team. And we know Jeff Passan dropped an article yesterday. I had a video on it. The emergence of Toronto comes on the heels of Sasaki's visit there Thursday and Friday. Sasaki also visited San Diego over the weekend, bringing even closer to the conclusion. So the conclusion should happen soon. And when it comes to the money that they have, the Jays have an international bonus pool of $6.2 million. Between the Dodgers and Giants in the low end of $5.1 million and the high end of $7.5. Basically, you can make additional pool via trade once the signing period opens. The Jays, I think if they get a verbal agreement from Sasaki, they'll do that in a heartbeat. Had Sasaki waited until he was 25, he would have been able to sign a massive deal. But for that reason, factors beyond money will tip the scales, and the Jays have been quietly preparing for the possibility of his posting for at least the past couple years. GM Ross Atkins visited Japan 2 summers ago to watch him and Yamamoto pitch. This is from Ben Nicholson-Smith. This other one was, of course, from Shai Davidi. So 2 independent writers here, both work for Rogers, both work for Sportsnet, are saying, A, they saw him pitching on the field, which is absurd. B, you're talking about now the Toronto Blue Jays, being preparing for this for years, which makes all the sense in the world as to why they're finalists for this guy, according to every single reporter. And now it's just a matter of waiting and hoping for once the Jays get a break. They missed on Ohtani. They missed on Burns. They missed on Soto. They missed on so many of these guys. If you can go out and you can find a way to pull off against all odds, Roki Sasaki, a guy we didn't even think was going to be in the running for the Toronto Blue Jays for the, at all. We didn't think the Jays were going to be finalists for him. And 24 or 48 hours ago, we thought the Jays, our biggest set was on Anthony Santander, which it still is. I think that's one of the biggest priorities for the Jays. But if they can go out, shock the baseball universe, that would change everything for the Jays. But again, we're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. Tons of news is going to come out today. And later today, we'll have videos for you covering that. We'll have a stream later tonight as well, in all likelihood, because this situation is going to keep getting crazier. And tomorrow is the day that he can officially sign, albeit it could take a few days after that. But we'll keep you up to date with all the latest news. So make sure to smash that subscribe button. Let us know down below. Do you think the Jays are going to pull it off? Let me know. Cheers.